Hey guys, part two of my video about my eighth best or eighth favorite MC or rapper of all time. That's Rakim, the microphone fiend. I ended the first part, where Rakim and his DJ and slash producer partner Eric B split up after the release of their June 1992 album, Don't Sweat the Technique, which was their fourth album. In review, Eric B and Rakim as a duo, and like I said, Eric B was not really was a producer, but he had a lot of help on production on those albums. At first from Marley Marl, leader of the Juice Crew, and then from the late great Paul C, rest in heaven's paradise, and from Large Professor, formerly of Main Source, and from DJ Mark, the 45 King. And MC Shan claims that he did some production, apparently. So there was a lot of help that Eric B got on the production, and the lyricist, the MC, obviously, of the duo was Rakim. So to review, in 1987, they had the monumental release, Paid in Full. In 1988, they had Follow the Leader, which came out, like I said, in 1988, and Rakim's lyricism was getting even better. And it developed further on Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em from 1990. And their final and fourth studio album as a duo was Don't Sweat the Technique from 1992. And by that time, Rakim was a very formidable lyricist, well-versed in storytelling, well-versed in multisyllabics. His flow had fully developed. And due to legal problems and problems with the label they had, Eric B and Rakim went their separate ways. And Rakim became a solo artist. When Rakim became a solo artist is when I think he got even better with his lyricism. He was supposed to release a self-titled studio album in 1995 called Rakim, but legal issues delayed that album. And it was finally released in 1997 as the album The 18th Letter. And that came out in early November of 1997. On this album, The 18th Letter, we see production from Father Shaheed of Poor Righteous Teachers, DJ Premier, formerly of Gangstar, DJ Clark Kent, Pete Rock, formerly of Pete Rock and CL Smooth, and Nick Wiz, another very underrated hip-hop producer, Nick Wiz. So Father Shaheed of Poor Righteous Teachers on there, DJ Premier, DJ Clark Kent, legendary hip-hop East Coast producer, and the very underrated Nick Wiz and Pete Rock. My favorite tracks on the album would be The 18th Letter, Always and Forever, It's Been a Long Time, Remember That, Guess Who's Back, The Mystery, Who Is God. That's probably my favorite track on the whole album, is The Mystery, Who Is God. When I'm Flowing is a great track. Added on to this album is it's a 2 CD album. The second CD for the album, The 18th Letter, is just a greatest hits collection called The Book of Life of Rakim's greatest hits from Eric B and Rakim's first 4 studio albums. Yeah, I actually, when I look at the track listing on this album, my favorite track is The Mystery, in brackets, Who Is God. That was produced by very little known or very not well-known underground and hardcore East Coast hip-hop producers, Naughty Shorts and Kid Nice. I haven't mentioned them as producers of the album, but Naughty Shorts, and and Kid Nice were also producers on that album. Bill Bliss was a co-producer on that track. So Bill Blass, not Bill Bliss, but Bill Blass was a co-producer on that track. So Naughty Shorts, Kid Nice, and Bill Blass were all lesser known producers on the 18th Letter, the album. And DJ Sond, capital S, lowercase O-N-D, DJ Sond did scratches on the track The Mystery, Who Is God. The track The 18th Letter, Always and Forever, was produced by Father Shahid, formerly of the legendary hip-hop group Poor Righteous Teachers. DJ Premier produced the track It's Been a Long Time. Clark Kent, or DJ Clark Kent, produced the track Remember That. The Saga Begins. That track was produced by Pete Rock, formerly of the legendary duo Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Guess Who's Back was produced by Clark Kent, DJ Clark Kent. So was the track Stay a While. New York, in brackets, Ya Out There, was produced by DJ Premier, and the very underrated East Coast hip-hop producer Nick Wiz produced the track Show Me Love from the album, from Rakim's debut solo album, The 18th Letter. And again, like I said, by a long shot, my favorite track on that album is The Mystery, Who Is God, and I'll link you to that song in the comment section of one of these videos, probably this video, the second video. And I'll also link you, like I said, to the music video and the track. Oh, the music video and the track for I Ain't No Joke from their Eric B. and Rakim's debut studio album. Okay. So in 1999, Rakim, in late 99, November 30th, 1999, Rakim released his second solo studio album called The Master. The only track it's a good album, but my favorite track by far on the album is When I Be on the Mic. That was the lead single of the album, on the album. And the track When I Be on the Mic was produced by DJ Premier. That's a very good track. Notable producers on the album The Master are DJ Clark Kent, again DJ Premier, TR Love, formerly, or I guess he still is a member of Ultramagnetic MCs, Nick Wiz, like I mentioned, the underrated East Coast hip-hop producer Nick Wiz, Jaz-O, Jay-Z's protege, and the 45 King was a producer on this album. Amin Ra, a lesser-known East Coast hip-hop producer, did some production. Punch, also a lesser-known East Coast hip-hop producer. Naughty Shorts, a lesser-known hip-hop producer, East Coast hip-hop producer. And of course, the underrated Nick Wiz. On The Master, Rakim's second solo studio album, my favorite track by far is When I Be on the Mic. I'll link you to that music video in the comment section, probably of this second installment or second part of. There's going to be a third video after this. I think notably Busta Rhymes has a cameo in the video for When I Be on the Mic. And Rakim doesn't release a lot of albums. His last studio album came out just 10 years later, or not just, 10 years later. It took him to put out his third studio album in November of 2009. That album being The Seventh Seal, and that's his most recent studio album. So come November of this year, Rakim has not, and I don't think, obviously, by this November, Rakim won't release a solo studio album. So it's coming up on 10 years since Rakim has not dropped a solo or any kind of studio album. And there's been rumors that he's getting back together with Eric B to release a studio album, but I don't think that's happening. So in November of 2009, he released his latest studio album, The Seventh Seal. Production on this album was done by Knots, Needles, J Wells of the Liquid Crew, Jake One. There's lesser known hip hop producers helped him out on this, or did tracks on this. Slice, Samuel Christian, Nick Wiz again on this. Very underrated Nick Wiz as a producer. Neo the Matrix, another underrated hip hop producer, appears as a producer on this album. Lofi, and Papa Pill. So the most significant producers on the seventh letter. The seventh seal, not the seventh letter. The seventh seal from 2009 would be Needles, Knot, J Wells of the Liquid Crew from California, Jake One, Neo the Matrix, and Nick Wiz. My favorite track on the album would be the Nick Wiz produced track, Holy Are You. That's my favorite track on this whole album. And also Italian hip-hop producer, I forgot to mention, Italian hip-hop producer Basie Maestro produced a track on this album called Working For You. And Ty Fife produced a bonus track, Euphoria, and that featured Styles P of the Locks, Jadakiss of the Locks. So Jadakiss and Styles P of the Locks and Busta Rhymes are featured on the track, the bonus track, Euphoria. And that was produced by hip-hop producer Ty Fife, who's a notable hip-hop producer. And the other notable feature on this would be from the rapper Mano on the track Walk These Streets. Mano out of Brooklyn, New York City. By far, my favorite track on the Seventh Seal is Holy Are You. And the song samples a song called Holy Are You, which was originally by the band the Electric Prunes. And it was overall a pretty good album, The Seventh Seal. And like I said, we're coming up on 10 years, and I think it will be obviously 10 years before, it will be 10 years come this November that Rakim has not released a studio album, and I wish he would release more new material. He's released, before this, I think in 2006 or 2007, he appeared on a track that was like an ad for Reebok or Nike or something called Classic, and it was in conjunction with Kanye West, KRS-One, Nas, and Gangstar, I think. I'll put a link for that track, Classic, in the comments section of one of these three videos on Rakim here. So again, Classic was Kanye West, Rakim, Nas, KRS-One, and I think Gangstar. But I'll put a link for that music video and that track in the comment section for this video, probably. Yeah, 10 years. It will be 10 years in 6 months that Rakim has not released a new studio album. Like I said, he did that track, which is basically an ad for, I can't remember what company. It was either Adidas, Puma, Reebok, or Nike. And was brainstormed, I guess, by Kanye West. But that came out in 06, 07 before the late 2009 release of The Seventh Seal. And since November 2009, Rakim has not released a studio album. One appearance I can think of Rakim doing was from about 2000 and I'll have to look this up because this is a very rare appearance Rakim did. A recent appearance. There's an underground hip-hop producer called the White Shadow of Norway. And Rakim appeared with an original verse on this fairly little-known underground hip-hop producer's one of his compilation albums. The track is called The Paragraph Chemist. And from my research, it's one of the newest original tracks that Rakim has done as a solo artist, or period. I'm just going to look this up when this came out. When the track, on the White Shadow of Norway, who was the producer, when he released the album that included the solo Rakim track, The Paragraph Chemist. That was from sorry about that phone going. That's the song The Paragraph Chemist came out as a single in April of 2015. And so, like I said, the White Shadow of Norway single, where Rakim did his first original verse in a long time, and that track being The Paragraph Chemist, and I'll link you in this video to that track, the audio of it, came out in late April of 2015, and the album that the track The Paragraph Chemist appears on is called Blaze of Glory, and that's a compilation album by the producer The White Shadow of Norway. I'm just going to check when Blaze of Glory came out, the compilation album. I'm going to check out where The White Shadow of Norway, also known as The White Shadow, is from. He's from Norway. The White Shadow of Norway. I was pretty sure of that, but just to be sure, I checked. He's from Norway. So he did a compilation that came out in 2016. And on this compilation CD or album, there's a Rakim track, Rakim's most recent solo track, called The Paragraph Chemist. And that came out in 2016, produced by the lesser known underground hip hop producer, The White Shadow of Norway, aka The White Shadow. And this ends the second part of 3 that I'm doing on Rakim, who in my Paul Bosin's opinion is the 8th greatest hip-hop lyricist or MC of all time. That's number 8. My 8th best hip-hop lyricist or MC of all time is Rakim Allah. And this ends the second installment. Thanks, guys.